If there's one type of anime that I'm sure we've all seen at one point or another, it would have to be Shounen. Whether you are one of the millions who grew up watching Dragon Ball, or you just got into anime fairly recently, I feel it's a genre that one way or another holds a special place in anime in general. Hello everyone, this is the RPG Monger, and I feel that right now, especially in these past 5 to 6 years, we are in a new era of amazing Shounen anime. So first, at its core, what are Shounen anime? Well, while the variety is frankly unimaginable, at their core, they are anime intended to be enjoyed by boys aged 8 through 18. As I stated before, a good bunch of us have been exposed to it for a long time, starting with Dragon Ball. Though not only that, but also Inuyasha, One Piece, and even Naruto. I'd say among other things, huge long-running successes like those really set a bar for shonen anime, and has led to both good and bad things. As for a while, it would get to the point where anime would just try to meet that placeholder set by those anime for a quick and shallow success. Because yes, having engaging fights and typical plots can make for something that you won't really get bored in. After seeing so much of it for a while, I could have sworn that the genre was getting stale. But then these past few years happened, and oh my god, we have been getting back-to-back fantastic shonen anime that not only meet those placeholders set by the greats of old, but surpassing them and adding their own unique spin to everything. So with now being, at least from my point of view, a revival of the genre setting new bars for future shonen anime, I want to discuss a few of these, as these anime really are changing the atmosphere of the entire medium with the impact they're leaving. So let's start out with a really recent one that I'm sure we've all at least heard about by now. My Hero Academia, an anime that right now is pretty much everywhere you go, and for a good reason. Since at surface level, if you just read about the series and got no other exposure to it, then I'm sure you would just think it's just some superhero anime with a basic plot, right? Well, once you watch it, I feel what immediately ensnares you is just how fresh the series is, with absolutely fantastic animation from the very first episode, and world building that really does catch you by surprise. Because yes, it is a bit cliche for the protagonist's main driving force throughout a series to become like their idol, and this is something I must say and will be saying a lot throughout this video, cliches are not always a bad thing. When they're not blatant and integrated with the plot to aid character development, they can honestly make an anime stand out versus making it blend in. For instance, with Deku starting out as just a kid who wanted to be a superhero, it makes him likable off the bat, cementing the viewers in his story to achieving his dream and beyond. Though main character aside, the supporting characters in this show are also just as lovable, with unique designs and unique powers that are quite the driving point in the beginning, as you want to find out what each and all of their powers are, and at least for me, that really kept me watching. And then also, combining my opinions about Season 2, I really do love how all the classmates of Deku really have been given unique personalities, compared to a lot of anime with school settings, and it can make the level of immersion all the more deep. I just cannot stop praising these characters, as another thing My Hero Academia just loves to do is not only focus on one main character's personal dilemmas, but also focus on the dilemmas of characters around them, like Deku's immediate friends and such. And all of these put together with just the added charm of superpowers make this anime one of the great shonens of recent years. Though moving on from My Hero Academia, next on the list is a shonen that is still pretty recent, though not as recent as My Hero Academia. Noragami and its subsequent second season is another shonen anime that, with the fantastic studio bones behind it, really left quite the lasting impression on not only me, but shonen anime in general. But why might that be? Well, off the bat, one thing I must praise this anime for is that it knows what it's doing and where it's going. It does not waste any time, but one thing that really highlights this series and those like it are its characters. And yes, this may sound simple, but the fact that there isn't just one sole trait that defines a character in this show is truly extraordinary. For example, in the beginning episodes, a character might appear to just serve as a cardboard cutout role of comic relief, but then as the story goes on, you learn there's a whole lot more there than meets the eye. As I said, quite a few shows have done this before, but just as an example, I feel Noragami fits pretty well. Now for those of you who saw the thumbnail, I know you saw this coming. But it truly is something when a shonen manga dating all the way back to the 80s ends up getting adapted decades later, and completely faithfully at that, not letting modern trends affect it too much. In the shonen anime sphere, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is something that stands out among the rest. And as I've already talked quite a bit on the topic, I'll just be referring to all the animated parts out today in general. So looking past my personal bias on the show, what exactly groups it with all these amazing shonen anime coming out right now? Among other things, I would have to say it's the style of storytelling it employs. Since I will for sure say, one thing this series knows how to do, that a lot of shonen fail at eventually after going for so long, is it knows how to not get repetitive. With every part having a new main character and a completely new story arc, it keeps the series fresh. With so many characters and personalities, it can be frankly hard to count, whether you want a simple hero's journey of vengeance, or the search for an elusive serial killer. If you're watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you're gonna get it all. Not to mention with David Productions being ever so faithful with their adaptations, the show really is a time capsule of sorts, to themes and designs that, while may not be very popular anymore in this day and age, really does help in making it catch your eye in one way or another, in turn ensnaring you in its icy grip. To keep myself from talking about JoJo for too long, however, there is another shonen of recent times that really shows that just because it belongs to a genre that is frankly pretty saturated with just about any show you can imagine under the sun, it still manages to be and feel unique among the masses. Assassination Classroom provides quite the unique start with students trying to kill their teacher, who is an all-powerful monster, and you'd honestly expect some kind of extremely violent anime, but what you end up getting is a show that is not only comedic, but absolutely fantastic at getting you attached to its characters fast. I was praising My Hero Academia for doing this exact thing earlier, but I must say, as this anime focuses much more on that aspect, as it's one of the main details this anime focuses on, it really does make the characters feel like real life students with unique personalities. Though characters aside, as a comedy alone, I really did enjoy this shonen anime, Season 1 and even more Season 2. As with Koro-sensei, not only does he provide a good portion of this show's comedy, he also can make for some really special moments, and among all the school anime out there, it really does show what shonen anime can do. Though now on a completely different genre, this shonen anime really does not take itself seriously, and I really have to commend it. Shokugeki no Soma, or Food Wars, is an anime that isn't perfect. I'll say that right now, it has its ups and downs, but the fact that it fits into the ecchi genre but doesn't fall into the usual pitfalls that genre is known for is really quite the achievement from my perspective. As an anime that consists of competitive cooking with comedic twists here and there with its said ecchi tag, while it is a hit or miss on a broader spectrum, I feel it's doing a great thing, as if more anime with the ecchi tag follow in its footsteps, using the genre for unique comedy instead of its other uses, then I feel that Food Wars is really doing quite the great service. Oh, and not to mention, it really does love to make references throughout its 2 seasons, one of which I'm sure that my viewers in particular will love. But to wrap it up nicely, I have one last shonen anime that I do not hear nearly anyone talk about at all. The Disastrous Life of Psyche K is an anime that holds the feat of being one of the few anime to actually make me laugh pretty consistently. With each episode being the bite-sized length of 5 minutes, this anime really does know what it's doing, and it does it well. With comedy ranging from parodies of tropes to just everyday incidents that happen around our psychic protagonist, with it not trying to be something it's not, like a good bunch of shonen tend to do, this anime is really just a good time. Nothing more, and for sure nothing less. So now with all those examples of the amazing shonens we've been getting in such a short amount of time, why exactly are these animes so important and so different compared to all the other fantastic anime coming out right now? Because to put it frankly, they're setting a new stereotype for shonen anime, a stereotype that then new anime in the future will strive to be like, and in turn creating a boom of more and more unique shonen anime. Because in the end, and I feel this goes for all types of anime, once something is done well, you can't just keep doing the same thing expecting the same result. That's the pure definition of insanity. Even when you tweak the formula slightly, it can create a whole new experience, an experience that I know that at least I will be more than happy to partake in. Though now that I've stated my opinions and thoughts on this new era of amazing shonen anime, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this inherent boom we're in the midst of right now? And is there anything you think I should have mentioned? Do tell me. And on a bit of a side note, I would have mentioned Attack on Titan, but let's be real here. What could I have said that hasn't been said already at this point? If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, do subscribe. And today's cool thing of the day is Hunter x Hunter, because as a huge shonen anime that I've started recently, it is really living up to all of my expectations and surpassing them even. All I can say is just if you haven't yet, go watch the first few episodes at least. You won't regret it. So that being said, I'm the RPG Monger, and don't forget that each and every one of you are fantastic.